Well, I'm not at that. I do write code, but it's really bad. And one of the things I think I learned from open source is I probably shouldn't write code because it's just too bad. So I do, as you said, I do personal projects. They look terrible, but nobody sees them, so it's fine. But I do think actually something that was said before is super important, which is that in open source, one of the most important things is showing up. Like the reason open source projects fail most of the time is because people just run out of energy, right? And other people maybe are too afraid, like myself, to contribute, right? But I think there is room, even just being able to maybe improve the comments or improve the README or add some examples to a repository is something that is actually a quite low-hanging fruit, and most repositories could benefit from. So I think there is room even for really bad coders or even just documenters or again even just translations, right? That's something very useful. Actually in Web3, I think that's a major pitfall. Very few projects actually translate the documentation. We just expect everyone to speak English. Obviously a lot of people do speak English, but in India there's like 100 languages, right? So I don't know how easy it is to find developer content about, for example, the graph. Even in Hindi, which is probably the biggest, right? There might not be any, right? So that's an opportunity even for people who are, again, maybe junior.
That's a fair point. And that definitely makes sense that maybe you start, like even as a junior dev, you can start out by making minor but meaningful contributions which really help shape the project, make it more accessible to people. And then as you grow, as you attend those meetings, as Francesco mentioned, that you show up, that's also an important thing. That is what helps you grow as a dev. Now just talking about, like we have also seen many large-scale companies exploiting some, open source projects, building more things on top of it, using that very tech as its core, and then using it for their own closed system software or something like that, right? So that basically, and the efforts the open source devs had put into it, that usually their investment doesn't get a proper return on it, right? They are not, it's not reciprocated well. So this could be one of the reasons also, like people by default do not want to, do not directly get into contributing to open source. Maybe if you have any other points, what more could be the reason and how can we solve for that, since I think we already understood why contributing to open source should be an important part of a dev journey.
Absolutely. In fact, I think it is outright unethical to ask people to contribute and then stealing their own code and saying, okay, it's all ours, now it's closed. Open source runs around communities, it's not company based. If you have a good community, people will contribute, it's just that simple. I'll take a fair point example in this case, which is Eddie Chow. People who have contributed or even been to GitHub once, you will see the most starred repository is actually of Eddie. What does he do? Everybody's heard of Linktree, right? Most of us use Linktree as well. Most of us are using it right now today also. Eddie made link free. He hosted it with like credits and all that he had. And all he said that, okay, come to my platform, make your own Linktree only, code it, push it to my repo, and I'll host it for you. We provided some value to his community by actually coding it. He provided us value at the very same minute by actually giving us a free Linktree. Linktree, by the way, is a paid service for those of you who didn't know. So this is a way we can reciprocate value. It does not always have to be money, but you can say thanks in a lot of ways than just monetary, right? So although there's no law that says you need to do this, but that is how you build communities. And Web3 is also all about communities. Even at Lumos, whatever we build is actually open for the public. If you go right now, you'll see the repository. Everything that we build is all public. You can contribute, and we probably mentor a little bit as well because that is how communities are built. So that's my take on this.
Honestly, I think about this often, like from time to time, but I'm not really sure like what to make out of the situation, because open source in its essence is just supposed to be free open source software, and anyone can use it anytime at their own discretion, and it's supposed to be out there. And if you're building an open source project, I think that that means you are okay with using it however they want and whenever they want. So I don't really have a strong opinion on all of this because I'm just so confused on what side it's strong, leaning on some way or sometimes I think that in an ideal world, anyone who uses an NPM package, for example, each time you install an NPM package, you have to like pay some very small fee, and that's how people get paid for ownership of software. But like that could be a very bad idea as well. Like why financialize something that's not supposed to be financialized in the first place? So it's a tricky one. I don't have an answer.
So the way I think about open source is that it's the best way that humanity has found to solve problems once, right? Rather than solving multiple times. And what you do when you build closed source software is you solve the problems, but you keep the solution to yourself, right? But we know that overall it's better for everyone if problems are solved once in an open process, right? So, generally speaking, the reason Web3 advances at a pace that is completely, different to the case of other industries is because of open source, right? It's because anyone here in this room can go and see what the most successful Web3 products look like under the hood and build on top of that, right? It's an incredible thing if you think about it. No other industry works like that, and I think it's one of the most important parts of Web3 that we should strive to maintain. But at the same time, there is obviously a problem with incentivization and a problem with monetization, right? You can't expect people to work for free. I think Web3 has found some solutions that work, right? Where you have open source code, which is decentralized, but there is, in some sense, a kind of central deployment, right? And the code isn't actually what's valuable. What's valuable is the deployment of that code, right? So if you think of the code for Uniswap, it's open source, kind of. Actually, sort of E3 is kind of, iffy, but let's say Aave is open source. You can go read the code, but what matters is the deployment of that code on the blockchain, right? So that kind of gives, similarly, the open knowledge aspect while also giving the creators some sort of defensibility and monetization opportunities. So, it's a great thing that Web3 has managed to create, but unfortunately, it doesn't apply to every case, and it doesn't apply to the most foundational pieces, right? Like if you build a React component and you open source it, like there's no way to monetize that. So hopefully, as an industry, we'll build better ways to fund these kinds of public goods. There's a lot of people working on that, but I don't think going back to closed source like Web2 is the solution. I think we should keep these values strong and focus on finding solutions to monetization without regressing to closed source, which is what's happening in the Solana ecosystem. By the way, contracts are not open source.
Right, yeah.